Miss Leah, what's going on? Happy Thursday. We made it through this long week. When I tell you this week was crazy, it's still kind of crazy because I'm still not done, but definitely glad to make it through. Salute Top Dog Lorenzo. Two more properties adding to the portfolio tomorrow. Salute to you. Or is it three? But definitely got a good situation tomorrow. So make sure you guys share this, please. We want to make sure we share this. The guest tonight, Southwest Philly. Young man's been plugging, playing, figuring it out, went to college, and then figured out the corporate life wasn't for him. He used real estate to get out of it. And just how's my sound? Y'all got any feedback? Oh, I know you ready, Lorenzo. I'm always ready, man. How was the sound? I just want to make sure y'all don't got any feedback. Miss Gatlin, what's happening? Big homie Israel, how you feeling, man? I gotta get with you too, man. Infinity, they playing with me, big homie. They playing with me. So we're just waiting for two to get in here so we can get started. Make sure you share this with somebody. We want to get this live packed tonight. Sound is clear. Thank you, Lorenzo. I definitely appreciate that. Speaking of which, Lorenzo, I just got a deal come across my table in Cobbs Creek, man. I think that that's my sweet spot. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna lock it up. I'm just waiting for the contract, so I'm excited about it. Good money, Israel. Good money. And there he is. Request right now. What's
Yep.
going on?
What's up, bro? How you been?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good and good.
That's good. Let me make sure my volume is up. Can you hear me clear?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right, man.
Cool.
How are you, man? How was your day?
Good, man. Busy day. We're starting my morning off looking at the foreclosed property. I was checking out with a contractor, two of them, and I was just running around Philly, checking out some a rehab project I'm working right now out in Southwest. I don't know if you know, but they got flooded from the hurricane a couple months ago.
I didn't know that.
So
No.
it's like a small pocket in Southwest Philly that um,
Talking about on
yeah, just got
Eastwick.
flooded entirely.
It's
Yep.
Eastwick, right?
Yep, right on 82nd, 84th, and Bewis, that whole entire area. So what's happening right now is that once that area got all flooded, there's one property owner out there that has like 53 properties, and with every insurance claim coming in, every single property has to get renovated. And guess what's
Okay.
going to happen? Property value's going to drive up, rent's going to go up. All these houses are going to have 2021 high quality products in there. So um, yeah, it's a kind of almost an accidental come up in a way, because I settled on that house and 2 weeks later it got flooded. Luckily, I put flood insurance on that credit card.
Nah, so you basically getting cashed out from the insurance, so now you're gonna be able to give it all the bells and whistles.
Yep, yep. So I mean, they gave me more than what was needed, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. So I mean, it's a blessing in
That's why
disguise.
you pay the insurance, though.
Yep, that's why I pay for my insurance. I put it on my credit card. I was trying to argue with the lender before I even bought the house. I was like, nah, this is not a flood zone. I live like 3 blocks down. And so they were like, no, you gotta put it on. They gave me the whole flood certificate and everything. And so um, I was like, fuck it, let me just put it on my credit card. And $400 turned out to thousands of dollars. So I mean, that's that. But other than that, I mean, keeping the ball rolling, man. It's been busy.
Okay, well, one, thank you for joining tonight. And let's just rewind real quick because we kind of jumped right in. For those who don't know, go ahead and introduce yourself. You know who you are and what you're doing these days.
So my name is Two Fam. I mean, I'm just a kid from Southwest Philly. Started this 4 years ago. Wanted to do something beyond just working that basic 9 to 5 job. Graduated from Drexel University. Studied accounting, law, and finance. I think after about 4 years, I was kind of feeling like I was plateauing a little bit in terms of my career, and I wanted to just do something beyond that. That's when I was, found out I was having a kid. I'm like, oh shit, I'm not ready for this. and and uh, and I was like, I gotta either get into some business or do real estate. And and I just decided to do real estate. I just literally put my head down, studied, read every single day. And each days, week by week, month by month, I just felt myself becoming more knowledgeable. Got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm ready to take some action. And so I figured, let me make some phone calls, called up a real estate broker that I knew from a year ago that I met from a volunteer event. Hit him up, and he just started showing me properties. And even going out to my first property, I knew I wasn't going to even buy it, but I just knew I had to get into that motion of getting up, getting out there, seeing what the property looks like. And, the rest was history from there.
So going back, so real estate wasn't your focal point initially. So you said you went to Drexel University, your degree's in accounting, right?
Yep.
And then how long were you working your 9 to 5?
I was, when I went to Drexel, they had like this co-op program. So, he was working during school, but, once I graduated, I was 22. So from 22 to 26, I was just working. I didn't even know what I was saving up this money for. And at 26 to 30, that's when I started grinding and, outside the top of the 95, doing the real estate stuff. So grand total, talking about 8-9 years.
So what was the influence to say hey, real estate is the thing? Why not, like you said, why not a business? Why real estate?
Why real estate? Well, because with real estate, I figured if I put $40,000 into a business and it goes belly up, it flops, that's $40,000 gone. But if I put $40,000 as a down payment into a piece of real estate, all I did was shift money from my back pocket to my front pocket in the form of what's called equity. So I figured, being a conservative accountant that I was, I figured that was the best thing to do.
So tell us about your first deal. How'd that first deal come about? And kind of let us know, was it successful? Was it hard?
Man, my first deal, it took me probably 6 months. Actually, my first deal, I bailed out on it. It was around June of 2016. It was a quadplex up around, I think, somewhere in West Philly, 56 and Market, 4 blocks up north of Market. I don't know what the street that was called.
Okay.
But whatever. It was a quadplex. Got it down to $120. It was leased out for, I think, $2,200 a month. My mortgage would have came out to $600. I would have cleared probably about $1,600 a month. Easy. I got my home inspection. Yep, I got my home inspection. The inspector scared the shit out of me because I was still a rookie at this time. He was like, yo, you're going to have to put 60, 70 grand of money into this house when all is said and done. Again, I'm still brand new to this, but I'm still taking action. I'm talking to my real estate broker. Yo, Marv, you think I should buy this property? And I was like, being an accountant, I always want things quantified. I want things numbered out. I'm like, so on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think about this building? He said, no. He said, building wise, this is probably a 6. This could be a potential money pit. So I freaked out. I backed out of it. I got my my earnest deposit back, but I lost my inspection money. But it was all good because 2 months later, I found a duplex. It was on the market for $130. Given at that time, 2 to 4 units, they required a 25% down payment, using conventional loans. And so, I ran my numbers on it. I figured it's going to boil down to just a few things. I cannot just keep spinning my wheels on looking, and, analyzing. I said there's 2 things, or actually maybe 3 things. Number one, is it going to at least make me $1,000 per month in profits, right? So after I pay off my mortgage, do I have $1,000 in my pocket? Number 2, it had to be turnkey. In this sense, it was tenant occupied. I already knew that there were tenants in there. I went to the property, I saw people in there. I spoke to or not me, but I reached out to my agent, and I told him if he could reach out to the seller's agent to see if we could obtain the lease contracts. I got the lease contracts, reviewed it, added up the total rents. It came out to $1,700 a month. I knew after the 25% down payment, the mortgage is going to come out to $700. $1,700 minus $700, it's $1,000. I knew that if I took that first step, I'm getting myself one step closer to, at least at that time, my goal was to earn $5,000 in monthly residual income. Because if I could have replaced my 9-to-5 job with that, I was out. I was just tired. I mean, and I think it took like just hitting rock bottom, like hating corporate America. I wouldn't say I hate. I just like dislike the idea of like working for somebody. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think what's wrong with it is that if you come out on the tail end and have nothing to show out after your 9-to-5, it's all over.
So you said a few key things that I want to kind of go back to. So the first deal, looking back on it, would you, like, knowing what you know now, would you have still done it or pulled out? Not the one you kept, the one you backed, the quadplex. Knowing what you know now.
The one I backed out of?
You feel like you should have got it looking back hindsight, or you feel like you did good walking away?
Well, now that the market value is all going up, yeah, I would. But I probably would have gotten all the tenants out of there first. Because one, I didn't think they were going to take good care of the building. The house was a money pit. So grand total, like return on investment wise, more money had to be poured in, and the more money I had to pour in, the lower my return on investment is.
Right. So for you though, your strategy isn't necessarily, hey, I want properties that I have to build the equity in. You more so go for the income of the cash flow.
Yeah. I remember, like, you know, just starting out in real estate, the idea of cash flow was like foreign to me. When I thought of real estate, I always thought it was buy, fix, and flip. Like the whole idea of rentals was like just new, like weird to me. I remember being 22. I was working with a colleague of mine, and he was telling me that I should invest in properties. I said, for what? Why would I collect $900 a month and deal with headaches? But at that time, because I was young and naive, I didn't understand I could scale up. Right. So I figured, well, I made $1,000 per month from one building. If I want to earn $10,000 a month, we'll just buy 9 more. And what I loved about that versus corporate America is that when it comes to buying real estate, it doesn't judge you by your skin color, your age, your sex, your ethnicity. Whereas in corporate America, and I don't want to pull the race card or anything, but I always felt like it was an uphill battle. I was in a predominantly white corporate America. And just seeing my peers, my Asian and African American peers, I mean, there definitely were challenges, like just trying to move up. It is what it is. And so because of the nature of that platform, that game, corporate America, I decided to just, venture off, trailblaze my own path, and do my own thing.
So for somebody working a 9-to-5, do you say quit and jump into real estate, or do you say keep your 9-to-5 and build the real estate, then quit?
Oh, keep your 9-to-5 and build your real estate. Do not quit. You need that 9-to-5. They're like, I don't want to, by no means do I ever want to trash or dog 9-to-5s, because I'm grateful and blessed for having that. Without it, I couldn't get the 9, 8, 10 conventional loans that I needed before I pieced out and put my 2 weeks notice in. But I would advise that you at least double your income from your day job. So your rental income should at least be double. I would say that. I mean, you could leave whenever you want, but that's your own personal preference. Because if you, let's say you're earning, I don't know, $3,000 per month after tax from your day job. Now, if you stacked up on your rental properties and you are now earning $3,000, understand that once you leave your day job, it's almost like you're going back to square one. Now you got $3,000 a monthly income. So it's as if you got 0 properties again. So for me, I also understood that I can only get up to a maximum of 10 properties per social security number. So I figured
you're buying in your personal name.
Yeah, I did. I understand there's this whole like back and forth between like, should you put it on an LLC, should you put it on the social security number? I honestly, at the time, I was like just more so focused on
just getting it done.
Money that I didn't care.
Right.
Yeah,
so
if you want,
go ahead.
No, if you want to hedge all that, because people would say like, what are you doing? Like, why do you have it under your social security number? You get a landlord policy that protects you up to $300,000, right? And then what you do is you purchase an outside
landlord
umbrella
policy. You're saying.
Yep. And if you want to insure yourself even further, you can then pay for an umbrella policy that covers you up to another $1 to $4 million.
So
Which
somebody asked social
honestly,
security number. So you know, basically what Two is doing, instead of buying in the EIN, he uses his personal name, personal income, and he knew he would max out between 8 to 10 properties under his name. So according to the mortgage rules, you only can put up to 8 to 10 properties under one social security number. As far as
yeah,
having
10,
mortgages.
10.
10. Okay, so 10 as far as having mortgages. So now once you get past 10, you either need another social security number, which would be cousin, spouse, mother,
My
father,
partner.
whoever, or partner, right? Or
Yep.
you buy in your LLC. Now, like you said, I feel like you said, there's no right or wrong. You got to do what works for you. But starting out, that's why, like you said, so you were fortunate where you could do conventional and do large deposits. So that increases cash flow. One of the things
Yep.
that I hark on with people who, they're not struggling, but they're trying to get in the game, like, start where you are in a sense. FHA allows you to do 3.5% down. So, the down payment's going to be less, but the mortgage is going to be slightly higher than if you did 20 or 25% down. But the thing is, you're in the game. That first property gets you in the game, and you figure it out from there.
Oh yeah, that's so important, and I like to use this analogy. It's like a locomotive train, right? It's really hard to push at first, but once it goes, it starts plowing through everything. Or even the snowball effect. You just got to get in the game, get started. Because once I got that first one, I got my confidence rolling. It was sky high. I was ready to pull the second. As soon as I got the second, I'm like, damn, two
How
properties.
long till
Then I
it
got the
took you to
third.
get the second? How long from the first to the second?
My first one I bought in August 2016. My second one I bought in September 2017. And I made it a goal to at least get one property every single year for at least the next 5 years. So after 5 years, I would have at least 5 properties. But at the same time, I knew that in the process of scaling up, I was going to have at least probably be able to purchase 2 properties by the third year or so. So in year number 3, I ended up buying, I think like 2 or 3. I think like 2. Yeah, 2 or 3, whatever.
Nah, so I agree with you, and that's similar to my story. I want to say probably about, what was it, like, say like year 4, I think. It was like
Mm-hmm.
I was started out buying one, then 2 years later I bought another one, and then probably about like year 3, 4, I bought 4 properties in 1 year. And then just
Wow.
last year, me being in the business a little longer, I flipped, I think, 3 properties in a year. So it's like, once you figure out your system and, you get the confidence, you'd be surprised. Sometimes it gets me in trouble, though. So sometimes I got to tell her back, like, yo, I took on a little more than I really wanted to. But it also makes you the animal you are, because you're like, I'm not going to fail. Like, I can't fail. I gotta figure this out.
Yeah, that's my struggle right now. Like I'm trying to pick up more. My contractor's telling me to scale back. I mean, he's kind of like my friend contractor, but at the end of the day, he's not the investor.
Right.
And so I'm telling him like I gotta hire more contractors, and he's been my right hand man for at least the last 3 years. So, and I'm telling him like, yo, I got another property down the street that I'm looking at, trying to buy through a hard money loan, and I'm using other contractors, and they're coming in and they're giving me quotes, and so he's just telling me like, yo, just slow down, take it easy. But at the end of the day, I gotta have my own vision.
Right. Well, that and it's tough because I know how it is. Like you know how you get that relationship with that one contractor and you want to ride it, and it's like, I know I can trust them. And with these contractors,
Yeah.
it's hard building that trust. But at the same token, you have to also keep in mind, not every contractor has the same vision, like you said, as the investor. So I mean, I've had some contractors, we got great relationships, but I just can't do business with them anymore because they don't see my vision, nor do they meet my goals. So it's like I'll use them for some things, but not for everything, kind of thing. And for every contractor, you probably need 3 of the same trades because somebody else might be busy. So it's like, dog, don't tell me to slow down. I wouldn't tell you to slow down from getting money.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
you know so for you, so you're strictly buy and hold. You're using conventional loans. So like,
Mm-hmm.
how's that look on the management side for you? Use property management, or you taking care of this stuff yourself?
Well, out of the number of properties that I have, I usually assign, or not usually, but I start to assign my most problemsome buildings, particularly with tenants, over to property management. I realized that in the process of buying more, I was being held back from like tenant phone calls, texts, issues, just drama, nonsense, and tension that I was trying to avoid. Not necessarily trying to avoid, but I just didn't have time for it. It was holding up, it was taking all my energy in trying to expand. And so just working in corporate America, I was able to start seeing how like there's like the segregation of like responsibilities. And so like you would never take the CEO of a company and then put him in my chair as a senior accountant and tell him to do ground level work. Because he's getting paid more than what I'm getting paid as a senior accountant. So he has to be able to focus his energies on higher level things. So in my case, I run with the same model. I'm not going to try to fix a toilet. Not that I'm too good to fix one. I don't have the time to do it. I don't have the skills to do it. So
Right,
I'd rather pay somebody else.
right.
Yeah,
You
I'd rather
make
have
more,
somebody else who's much more skilled.
right. You make more, not more money, but your time is better suited doing other things that generate money for the overall goal.
Exactly. And this is where running the operations of the business is very vital. I've seen some people who starts out and they're telling me that they're working on the floor of their kitchen. And 6 months later, he's still working on the floor of his kitchen. I'm like, bro, you could have got this done in 2 weeks if you just paid off somebody to do it. So, I mean, but that's one thing too. It's one thing to have the financial ability to do it and the risk tolerance to do it. But then it's another thing to have the prudence to be able to run your business in a way to keep it sustainable for the long term.
Right. So for people who do have a 9 to 5, what advice could you give them as far as being able to like get over that hump? Because like I know some people who they do their research, they do their studying, and like you said, like they might even go look at properties, but it's just like I just can't find the right property. Like, how do you get over that hump just to make that decision?
They have to, I think, identify 1, 2, or 3 things that they're looking for in a rental property, because otherwise they're chasing this unicorn. Like, what are you looking for at the end of the day? Is it just a damn unicorn you're looking for that's not going to exist? And also understand that your first property, no matter what it is, there's always going to be a bigger and better property out there. So that's one thing you have to understand, because I remember starting out my first one, I was like, I got to get this dime piece of a property. And it's got to be the best one, because that best one is so important. It's gonna power my second, third, fourth, and fifth. But at the end of the day, I realized, you know what? If it's making me $1,000 per month in profit, if the money that I'm putting down, aka my down payment money, relative to my profit money times 12 months, is at least 20% return, then I'm all for it.
Wait, so
At
say
the end
that
of the day,
again.
building.
Say that again for the non-accountants. Say that again.
Okay. So if you have let's say a $20,000 down payment on a property, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm clearing $1,000 per month. So let's say your mortgage is $600, but you're collecting a rent of $1,600. You got that difference, that spread of $1,000 that you now is like cash money in your pocket. You take that $1,000 per month times 12, that's $12,000. So that's your return. Your investment is the $20,000 down payment that took to acquire the building. I had to look at it on the most simplistic level, because that's where people get caught up, paralysis by analysis. And so I realized if I'm putting out $20,000 on January 1st, and by the end of the year, December 31st, I'm getting back $12,000.
Mm-hmm.
By that math, you do 12 divided by 20. That's a 60% return on investment.
Ooh.
You gotta ask yourself, can I get 60% elsewhere? Yeah, you could probably do that selling drugs, gambling, but you know what I mean. Real estate is probably one of the biggest assets you'll ever purchase, and with the markets going up, I mean it's a great time right now.
Right, and that's just the cash flow, not to mention the equity that you might even have by the end of the year. Like you said, you bought a house 2 months ago, and now the whole neighborhood's being renovated.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's the principal pay down. You get that. You get the tax benefits from it, and then the property value appreciation. The property value appreciation, honestly, that's just the cherry on top.
Ooh, okay.
Because I mean, the property value appreciation, I don't bank on that. If it appreciates, like I said, that's just cherry on top. At the end of the day, I was looking to quit my job, but in order to quit my job, I needed to have that steady basis of monthly income. And for some people, they think it's a scam. I don't know why. I mean, for one of my friends who is also an accountant, I'm like, bro, let me bring my laptop to you. Here's my mortgage. Here's my lease contracts. Here's my closing disclosure to prove to you that I bought this property. And you go do the math and figure out what type of return I made, because he was telling me like, no, there's no way you made that return. I'm like, okay, just then you calculate it. And once he saw it, he's like, yo, how is this possible? And I'm like, and I'm trying to tell him like, hey, if you want to get on this, I mean, you can absolutely do it. Just work, save, live below your means, and have that risk tolerance to be able to take that next step. But beyond that, like, I think you would have to have a deeper purpose. Like, why do you even want $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, whatever your number is per month? And even once you reach that, that's the point of financial independence. Now you have the ability to leave your day job. So for me right now, I left my day job like 7-8 months ago, March 31st, 2020.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I'm just basically working on my own pace. I just can't honestly like stand around, do nothing. I mean, I hit the gym whenever I can. Unfortunately, the city's shutting down again, so I'm just gonna have to do some push-ups.
Yeah, I just got me a Peloton. I'm waiting for it to come in the mail. I'm trying not to let that dad body come in.
Wow. Yeah, that dad bod is coming, man.
No, man, we gotta fight it off, man. We gotta fight it off as much as we can.
But what was I saying?
You were saying about the properties with your accountant buddy, and like trying to live below your means and chasing after what your goal is, knowing what the goal is.
Oh yeah, like just having that purpose, because I wanted to be able to do it just beyond money. It wasn't just like financial independence and time freedom, but just having that creative imagination of like, what do I want to do with my life? Where do I want to ultimately live? What do I ultimately want to drive? How do I want to spend time with my family and friends? That is the ultimate goal. It's not just to like make a crap ton of money and like, here it goes. It's to be able to have that ability to help people out, that if you want to, you can just, I mean, I'm not really for like just dropping people money, but I'm more so of a belief of trying to teach people. And if somebody really needs it, then cool, I could probably consider it. But, at the end of the day, it goes beyond just making money, having properties. It's about what am I going to do with my life over the next 30, 40, 50 years? Because knowing that you're going to die, I think that's the most important thing that you have to understand, that once the clock is up, it's it. Like you had your chance to do what you wanted to do on planet Earth. And to get to that point on your deathbed where you realize like, man, I could have done this. I could have taken that action. I regret not doing this. That's the life that I don't want to live. And that's why I'm taking all these risks. I failed along the way. I succeeded along the way. But that's another thing that, I think many people have to also grasp, is that in the process, you're going to fail, but you're also going to succeed too. But it's the failures that's going to get you a step closer. And honestly, I treat them equally, success and failures. The failures is just another way of having to springboard to the next step. I always use like my PHA home inspections as an example. I never passed the first time. I promise you that. No, I lied. I did pass the first time. But most of the time I did not pass. And when I don't pass, they basically just tell me, look, you got these 5-6 things that you have to correct. And either I can complain and cry about it, or I can take a look at that list, make a phone call to my contractor, let him know if he can help me address these items. He lets me know he can address these items. He finally fixes them. I make a payment to him. I call PHA, reschedule an inspection. They come back out. They look for those 5 items. And guess what? I pass. So don't ever think like failure is a stopping point. It's just a next step to the next step.
Got you. And that's definitely dope. How'd you get so resilient or strong-minded about the failures? Because I mean, I feel like failures is one of the biggest things, especially with real estate. People are like, hey, what if my tenants don't pay? Or what if the contractor burns me for money? Like, how?
I don't know. I think it's a combination of being from the city of Philadelphia, going through the Philadelphia Public School District, and just being tough, being rugged. I don't know, it was from just my days from playing basketball and just not liking to lose, or but then I think another thing that also factored into that was just also continuously and daily reconditioning my mind. Like every single morning I put on some good positive stuff. Every single night I was putting on good positive stuff, just hearing and listening. There's like mentors I listen to on YouTube. When I'm at the gym, I put them on. I was almost like I was literally brainwashing myself into being like this super positive ass dude. So that got me over the hurdle. Like even on my first property, literally on the first month, the guy pulled me aside and said, "Look, I don't have 450 for you." He was renting a bedroom for 450. He said, "I
Mm-hmm.
got $200. My car got towed," and he was just like listing his laundry item of things that, you know, of excuses. And so he told me he's going to pay me in a month. I called him, went straight to voicemail. And keep in mind, this is like a 45-year-old retired cop living in a bedroom. He's a retired cop. And so I came to the property. Keep in mind, I'm like 26 at this time. I'm kind of nervous, but at the same time, this is my house, and I realize
Right.
I'm not going to be scared. It's like owning a pit bull when you're scared of it. It makes no sense. So if I own this house, I'm not going to be scared of it. So I remember driving up to the property up in the Logan area, North Philly, duplex. Came in through the door, got my keys, ran up the steps, banged on the door. He said, "Who's this?" I'm like, "To the landlord." And my heart was racing. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little scared because and so he opened the door. I think he had like a prostitute in there or something because he wouldn't open all the way. And so he said, "Look, I only got 600 for you. I know I owe you 700, but I'll pay you the rest later." But you know, just taking those types of actions, like most people, I think they might be like intimidated or afraid. But at the end of the day, you know, I don't know. I think that was part of the resilience. Just even having those moments, those experiences, like that was a stressful moment for me.
You still run down on your tenants now?
No, no, I don't. I've learned to play it cool with them. Like there's this one girl that's just like so nasty with me. 6 o'clock in the morning, she's texting me and like just nasty. I'm like, "Yo, I just worked 5 minutes ago. My contract is not even awake yet, and why do you gotta be so rude to me?" But I learned that, you know what, everybody is in their own world out there, and I always try to look at it from their perspective. Maybe they're going through some issues.
Right.
Maybe they have something going on that they act and behave that way. But honestly, at the end of the day, as long as they're paying their rent and they're a performing tenant, then I'm good.
I got you. Nah, man, you got to be careful. Definitely these days, man. I remember when I was younger, I definitely would try to run down on my tenants, and now it's like, man, I don't got time for it. Let alone I just don't feel like the headache. One of my last tenants, like she literally called me to come get the rent, and then she shut the door behind me, and I'm like, yo, what are you doing?
Mm.
I'm like, see, this is why I don't come get the rent. Then she slapped me in my ass. I'm
Oh
like,
wow,
lady, just put, yes, old lady. She like 50 something.
jeez.
Like, yeah, I'm like, yo, lady, this not what you want. Like, just give me the rent and let me go about my business.
One time I had a tenant yell at me so loud, I was like, "What? What's this air whiffing in my face?" And I had it on speakerphone. I realized there was air coming out my phone. That's how loud she was yelling at me. No, seriously, and with that particular tenant, it was a boarding house. This is like there was a property that I acquired back in December 2019. It was a boarding house. There's 4 people in there already. Now keep in mind, I usually don't do or deal with this quality of folks. So when I was like, all right, whatever, I'm just gonna take this risk, like, because I was in this pressing urge to leave my day job that I wanted to get these conventional loans wrapped up, done, and at least I have the properties under my name. So that way, when I quit, at least I got the buildings and I got
Right,
the mortgage.
right.
But with this
So you
particular
bought it.
tenant,
So you bought a boarding home.
I bought a boarding house. It had 4 people in it already, out of 5 bedrooms. It was a 3-story home. Each tenant was paying like $120 a week, and it was just annoying having to come up to the property every single week to collect cash. I mean, don't get it wrong. I'm not gonna make that sound stupid. So many people would love to like drive somewhere and collect cash, but at this point in my career, my stage, I didn't have time for that. It was cold. I know most people don't like the cold weather, and I started flipping them to a monthly. And given that it's a boarding house too, like back in the summer, I had one tenant, a female. She ended up stabbing one of my other tenants.
She ended up what?
Stabbing one of my other tenants. There was 7 cop cars in front of that property. I was like, I was at home. I didn't know all this was happening. But when I came back, there was blood on the walls. One person went to the hospital. The girl ended up going to jail. And then the guy that ended up going to the hospital called me the very next day fabricating a complete lie and told me that the female's boyfriend kicked her bedroom door down and stole her TV and bounced. What ended up really happening was his people ended up retaliating and kicked her bedroom door down, knowing that she got locked up
And stole his
at that
stuff.
night. Yeah, and they just tore it up because when I went in there, it just didn't look right. I was like, why is the child's bed flipped over if the baby dad actually did it? I mean, I don't think the baby dad would want to flip
That's
his
that's
bed.
how the rooming house go though. They know if somebody going or if you don't come home for a couple of days, they gonna run down on your stuff.
They didn't get the security deposit back, so.
Yeah,
Actually, he owed me $2,200. His account's in collections.
yeah, it's tough, man, with the rooms. I mean, I feel like you got to definitely have a tough skin and definitely a system. So like I'm not opposed to renting rooms. You just definitely got to have a system in place. Like with my room renters, I do a thing where like I give them a twin mattress, I give them a mini fridge and a microwave. That's it.
That's called Airbnb, air bed and breakfast.
Hey, they got what they need, and then like you said, like I collect the rent once a month. I don't even collect the rent. You know, I had a tenant either cash at me or go to the bank, but I'm not coming to collect the rent.
Exactly. I actually build into my lease that if I have to come out there, I'm gonna charge them $50.
Additional, right? Just for that, right?
I was
And
like,
then
look, it's
with
a
my
win-win.
with the rooms, I do keypad locks, so I don't have to give anybody keys. So it's all keypad. So if you cut up on the room, I change the keypad. You'll call me when you want to come pick your stuff up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I mean,
no, I was just saying I try to make it as efficient as possible, and then I put the bathroom light on a timer, so the light goes off every 7 minutes. So you can't be in there having parties and taking crazy long showers. And then the same thing in the kitchen. The
right.
kitchen on a motion sensor.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. I never thought of that. I should probably start doing that.
You pay the utilities?
In my boarding house and my duplex, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So in the boarding house, if I'm paying the utilities, I got to keep costs down. So that's why I got the bathroom on the timer and the hallway and the kitchen on the motion light.
Yeah, man, I got one of my boarding house electric bill right here. It was $1.50.
See?
So I mean, yeah.
Go to Home Depot, get you the light switch that got the timer on it, and you could just only connect the one that you want for how much time it gets. So if you need to take a 10-minute shower or whatever, you got to go back out the hallway, because that's the other thing. I put the light switch outside of the bathroom. So now it can't be convenient for you to keep hitting the button.
Right. Yep. No, that's a good idea. Should probably consider that in the future.
Hey, man, I'm trying to get that bill down. That's all. Put another $50 back in your pocket, man.
Yeah. Actually, I got two tenants fighting right now over like the thermostat temperature. It's just like ridiculous.
Oh, nah. So I do like they do in school. You got to put the electric case. I'm not the electric, but the case with the lock.
Mm-hmm.
Once you set the thermostat, put the case with the lock with the key, and you got the key. You set it on, I think, like if it's real cold, 74. If it's not so cold, 69. And you just let it rock.
Bro, I got one tenant that tore off that thermostat case twice.
Oh no, yeah, he gotta pay for it.
And then after I put in the lease contract that if she tears it off, she's gonna forfeit her security deposit. I don't know if she read it or not, but she did it again.
Yeah, nah. So it's tough. So I mean, it's like, all right, lady, you keep playing with me, and then you're just gonna be mad when you don't have no heat. Then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now, if you don't have heat for a couple of days, it's not my fault. Y'all broke the thermostat when y'all broke the thing.
Yep. Yeah, man. Some of these tenants, they just be on something.
Well, like you said, I've learned though. So a lot of them, they do have, or it's just like college. Like you never know how people are brought up or what they've been through. So it's like you said, if you could be patient, kind of. So most of my tenants now, like we all got a good rapport. I've had all my tenants I think I've had all my tenants but one over 3 years right now. Everybody's like with me. We're locked and everything is good.
Right.
So, it's just a matter of building that rapport and everybody being able to understand each other. And then also as a landlord, being okay with saying no. They don't have to like you. You know, because at the end of the day, it's your business.
Right. At the end of the day, as long as they're paying, then I'm cool with that. But what I always do from the front end is I always have like these 30-minute conversations with them, get a feel for them, get an understanding of who they are, fill them out, engage them. You could obviously tell a lot, like when you just interview them and if they're like texting on their phone while I'm interviewing them, obviously they're not giving you that undivided attention. And you also, with some tenants, well, not tenants, but prospects, whenever I screen them, if I see like that urgency out of them, like they gotta like
move in today.
Yeah, there's something wrong.
I got the money right now. Let me get in there.
Yep. I had one prospect was like, yo, the voucher's right there. You can just sign it right here. And we all said, done deal. I'm like, okay, let's just relax, lady. Yeah, I mean, you do get a lot of that. And at the end of the day, like there are some that has lied. I've asked for their previous landlord's contact number. As soon as they start like looking somewhere else, like I read their body language so well. If you can't look at me straight in the eyes and answer my question, I already know you're lying. This one lady, she actually did lie to me. She said that she lost her landlord's number, and that in fact she's suing him for sexual assault or harassment, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, she was doing this with her phone, and I'm like, are you looking for his number, or are you just like, I don't know. And so I ended up calling PHA, asking for her previous landlord's contact number. And once I got a hold of him, he was like an old 65-year-old Jewish guy. He told me that she trashed his place, owes him like $3,000 in back rent, and he had to evict her. And also the fact that she was staying at her mom's house for the last 5 months gave me a strong indication that probably most landlords that she's interviewing with or looking to move into has probably rejected her. So that was something I also picked up from corporate America too. I remember when I took off from like, I think in 2014, 2015, I just took off 7 months. I didn't do shit. I just worked out, watched basketball, and ate. And what was I trying to say? Refresh my memory.
You were saying about you took off for 7 months with corporate America, and learned dealing with people.
So when I started looking for a job again, and I was getting interviewed, these people were asking me, what's this 7-month gap right here in your job history? So I had to explain that. So leveraging off of that, I did the same thing in my screening process. Why have you not lived in a PHA property for the last 5 months? Odds are there's something wrong with you, because they would think there's something wrong with me after 7 months too, right? Fact of the matter is I just wanted to chill. But because I wanted to chill for those 7 months, I did have a brave fart. Because that's what happens when you smoke.
It's all good.
So I'm having it again. What was I saying?
You were saying about having the gaps with the employment and not being able to get either a rental or get a job.
Yeah, but so it was those 7 months that I took off that really made me realize I want to live my life like this. Just kind of being able to wake up and have that freedom, that flexibility of just doing whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I ended up getting a job and just worked, saved my ass off every single year from 2016 up through like 2020. Like I just lived below my means. I kept my circle really tight and small. Even my closest friends, I wouldn't even see them for like a whole month. But it wasn't that I wasn't trying to hang out or party. It's just that I was just so busy. After working the 9 to 5, I'm working from then 6 to 12 that nobody sees. And then when you come out the woodworks 4 years later, they're wondering how you did all this. It's because they didn't see the grind that I put in.
Right.
There's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes. I mean, like, you don't wake up with properties deeded to your name and it just falls in your lap. Things has to take place in order for that to happen. So,
one of the things you mentioned earlier in regards to the $1,000 per month, I mean, as far as per property. So you're netting that larger amount because you're putting a larger deposit down.
Not necessarily. I mean, with certain properties, like for instance, my second one, I got a pretty good deal out of it. It was listed for $120. Somehow I talked them down to $97,500. After making a 15% down payment, because that's the minimum down payment, at least on single family home investment properties.
So you do single family as well.
I'm actually more for single families now than I am for like multi-units, duplexes. My ROIs are higher on single family homes than it is on multi-units. I think that a lot of people have this misconception that just because you have a multi-unit or more doors or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be, that it's more money. Well, more money is relative to what you're putting out there in terms of your down payment, aka your investment money. So
Okay.
if I can put down 15% on a single family home as opposed to 25% on a duplex, and both properties will gross me the same amount of money per month, then my return on investment is actually higher on my single family home. So for example, two buildings, right? 100 grand each, a single family home and a duplex. They're both generating $1,600 a month. But if you put down 15% on the single family home, you're putting it down $10,000 less compared to the multi-unit where you're pulling down $25,000. Yes, your mortgage might be a little bit more with the single family home, but not by that much more.
I got you. Okay. And then you're taking these same properties and so you prefer Section 8?
It depends. I think on certain areas, especially due to the pandemic, like it was almost like virtually bulletproof. I was still getting PHA payments on the first of every month wired to my bank account, and so I mean, even for the non-PHA tenants, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I feel like people are people. Even if you get non-PHA tenants, they can absolutely very well screw you over too and not pay you. So I think there's a lot of bad reputation that comes with PHA. Before I even invest in any real estate property, I was having conversations at the barbershop with my barber. He doesn't even invest in real estate, but he was telling me like, oh no, you don't want to invest in a Section 8 tenant because they're going to put a hole in your wall. But
Right.
the fact of the matter is that he probably heard that from somebody else, and it's just relaying it to me, and just so that he can sound like he knows what he's talking about. But at the end of the day, even if you're a low income person, it doesn't mean you're a bad person or you're necessarily going to put a hole in the wall. You're
Mm-hmm.
just financially just in a
Different position.
yeah, you're just in a financially not a good position. So I know that there's good low income folks out there. It's just a matter of screening, having a process in place to make sure that you filter out those people. Because at the end of the day, I participate in the PHA program to give back. I put in high quality materials in there. Every single home that I ever rented out through PHA, they grade it as excellent on a scale of like excellent, very good to good. Every one of them got rated as excellent. The higher that they're rated, the more that they pay you. They never really told me how much more or how to break it down to quantify that. But
You just know you always get max dollar for your rentals.
yeah, at least I know I got max dollars. Putting out
So,
that stuff.
and then also, I think we talked about it before, or you mentioned it. You have another little cheat code that you do to get the most out of the rent, other than what you're putting in it.
What's that?
Didn't you tell me? Was it you that we were talking about that, and you were telling me about the additional bedrooms or something?
Oh yeah, I did. So once I looked at the PHA payment standard schedule, so they literally break down and tell you what they're going to approximately pay you based off of your bedroom count and based off of where your property is located throughout Philly. They literally have a schedule. I think I put up on one of my recent posts. And so, yep, there you go. You got it right there.
Can you see that?
That's the cheat sheet. I mean, like the government, like the United States of America is letting you know, like, yo, you want to become a millionaire? Come and get me. Like, it can't get any easier than this. I used to think like a victim, and like, man, my life is maxed out. I'm never making more than $70,000 a year, and I'm gonna retire old at 65. But you know, all that I trashed it completely. That's what society's mindset. That's society's mindset. That's what they want you to believe. And so I had to tear that down because even with your family members and friends, they give you what the perception of what life is supposed to be. You go to college, you get good grades, you go get a job, you get married, you get a big fancy house, and then you get a big fancy car, and then you're stuck in debt for the next 30 years. Now you're tied to your job that you got to pay off your 30-year mortgage and your car for the next 5 years. And also you got that wedding bill too.
So, but wait, so go back to the hack though. So what is the other bedroom trick?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Can we get that live? Can I break it? Can I
So
break?
so yeah, yeah, let's do it. So most Philly homes are, at least I think, are 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom homes, right?
On average, that's the average
On
property.
average, 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom. And so I asked PHA, hey, can I add a bedroom to the house? Well, actually, no. When I started looking at the payment schedule and I looked at what 3 bedrooms were paying me, I was like, I'd rather get what a 4 and a 5 bedrooms pay me. So if I get a 3 bedroom home, how can I construct this or renovate this house in a way to add a fourth bedroom? When I read the PHA handbook, I requested for it and I confirmed it by calling up PHA. I spoke to the inspector. I think everybody knows him, Carl. Um, he said as long as the bedroom's at least 70 square feet, has a
How many
window,
square feet?
70.
70 square feet
Mhm.
bedrooms.
The bedroom has to be at least 70 square feet. You have to have at least one light fixture. You have to have at least one outlet, a window, a heating source, and I think a closet too. Then you're good. Oh, and also has to be above ground. So with some homes, towards the front of the home, like the home, like when you're in the basement, you know how you have that little like glass block window.
Right. That
Um,
means you're below ground.
yeah, but sometimes in some homes, when you're like at the back of the home and you walk out the door, you're completely above ground. So I asked PHA, well, can I build a bedroom right here where the garage once was? Because as soon as I walk out, I'm above ground. You got to count this
Right.
as a bedroom, right? And so they said, yeah, cool. If you do that, we'll count as a bedroom. I took action. I asked my contractor how much it's going to cost me to convert this garage to a bedroom. I identified every single thing that I wanted to be done, and he told me it's a $5,000 job. And so if you think about it on a math level, like a 3 bedroom home will probably pay you like $1,300 a month. Four
So it's
bedroom home, four
13,
bed,
I'm just
1360.
1360 roughly.
Okay. 4 bedroom home will probably cost you around get you like $1,700 a month. You take that difference, right? That's $400. $400 times 12, $4,800. The
Major
fact
money
that
right there.
Exactly, and this is a long-term game anyway, so I didn't even care if I got my money back like 2 years later. But the fact that I was able to get to a 4 bedroom, I found like that was like kind of a cheat sheet to it. So all these properties, I literally took like all these buildings in Southwest Philly that were originally designed as 3 bedroom homes, and I added that fourth bedroom addition. And now I'm renting out to 4 bedroom homes and getting 4 bedroom rents.
So the other thing is that you'll also get a higher value if you went to go refi. You added that additional bedroom now. So now you get the
Yep.
4 bedroom appraisal instead of the 3 bedroom appraisal. So in some cases where some of these properties you're paying more money than we would like, you can justify paying more because you're going to get more rent than you would have gotten if you had a regular 3 bedroom.
Right. Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
It was smart bull too. I like that. I
And,
like
and
that.
so there was a up in North Philly. I have a 5 bedroom, 1.5 bathroom home. I was trying to get a home equity line of credit off of that building, right? Once they did the appraisal, they did what's called a desktop appraisal. So desktop appraisal is basically they're just doing an appraisal from their desktop, literally.
Right.
And they told me I bought that building for 100 grand even. They said the building is worth I think like 100 grand. And then once I reviewed the appraisal, it said that it's a 3 bedroom home. I told them this is a 5 bedroom home. Why would they put down that's a 3 bedroom home? And they said that's because that's what's on record with the city of Philadelphia. So what
Right.
some Philly property owners do or investors do is that they'll buy a house, they don't pull permits, and they just build bedroom additions to it. And when they do that, the city of Philadelphia doesn't pick it up as a fourth or a fifth bedroom. So um, so that's when I ended up paying an extra $300 to the bank to make sure that they sent a live appraiser out there. Once they
Right.
send a live appraiser out there, they literally just walk into the building and just confirm and verify on a visual standpoint that this property does in fact have 5 bedrooms. So once they saw that, I got my appraisal in a week. They revalued that building, that $100,000 building that I bought in 2018. In 2019, they valued it at 160,
Nice.
just because it's of more bedrooms.
Right. Nah, that's a game changer right there. So we got a couple minutes left, right? So for the people out there with the 9 to 5, can you just give them like what you would say is like I don't know, like just simplify it for them getting this from 9 to 5 to just getting one or two more properties. Because I feel like you said, if you keep that 9 to 5, and I'm pretty sure there's some parents on here that like, yo, if I made an extra $2,000 and I didn't have to get a second job or get another degree for it, I would love to do that.
I would say have your focus lined up to your future self, because this is not an overnight thing. This took me 4 years to do, 4 years and 1 month exactly. So don't just look at it from a singular standpoint in year number 1 or year number 2. Look at the process that goes out, stretches 5 years out. Because if you can't even grind through the next 5 years, I mean, then you better go work for the next 50 years on your 9 to 5. So that's the way I had to look at it. It's either bust my ass for the next 3 to 5 years or bust my ass for the next 30 to 50 years for somebody else. And in addition to that, you know, it doesn't matter what job you're working. You're making $8 an hour, $80,000 a year. Honestly, it don't matter. What matters is how much of that money do you keep? Because I've actually like helped out people who was only making $10 an hour, and I was mapping it out for them. I literally wrote them a game plan and said that in 5 years you could be making $10,000 a month if you follow these rules. And I asked him, can you break down this game plan, this 5-year game plan that I wrote down for you? Does any of this do any of these steps require some miracle or magic? And he said no, because this is all really basic stuff. Like if you just follow or remain disciplined, work hard, save up your money, you know, keep a lot of the outside noise away from you, because, you know, a lot of people who are hesitant to get into real estate, they'll cross-check their family members, they'll cross-check their friends, and they'll get input from them. And then they'll be influenced by their words. So you also have to be mindful of who you talk your business to as well. Somebody will shoot it down. They probably don't want to see you do well, because I mean that's just human nature sometimes too. And some folks, because if you're doing well, it's a reminder to them that they could have done the same thing as well, but they didn't.
Right.
They don't like that. People don't like that in general. But now that whenever I see success, I actually recognize that person definitely worked hard to get to where he is. But that's the difference between the poor mindset and the rich mindset. The low income mindset will oftentimes think that if somebody is successful, they must have cheated their way to it. They somehow got lucky, or they received some large inheritance. But the rich mindset, you know, when you have that abundant mindset, you also kind of operate that you already have everything at your disposal. When I had my first property, I operated as if I had 5 properties already. And so you have to almost think that way. It sounds weird. I study the law of attraction. It goes beyond the whole technical real estate stuff, because this stuff is real. It's as real as the law of gravity, honestly. If you learn about it, I mean, it's really helped me out tremendously with how I was able to kind of manifest everything that I have currently today, because it's beyond technical real estate. It's mostly psychological, mostly mental. Because everything that I do is not hard. It's just phone calls. It's just typing on my laptop. It doesn't require me to run some marathon. This is not some physical endurance battle. It's just being able to have the mental toughness to grind through all of the stresses that comes with it. But you know, over time, once you understand how to handle your stress, it's you know, you're going to realize that you're going to go through a constant cycle of, you know, panicking, freaking out, taking action, then everything calming down again. Then something boils up again, you panic, you freak out, you take action, and then everything calms down again. And then when it happens for like the 45th time, you realize you don't have to panic or freak out anymore. You could just take action, just be good with it.
Right.
If people just slow down and kind of live in the present, they'll realize that. Real estate is not hard. It's really just, if you're a good communicator and you can talk to people and you become very likable and you can create and expand your network of resources with contractors, your agents, and you have that willingness to learn, then I mean, man, you're unstoppable.
Nah, that's dope. And then to add to that, for the people that just say they are in position, roughly what kind of credit score do you need to get one of those conventional loans?
I mean, bare minimum, I believe right now it's somewhere in the ballpark of 650 to 680, but I would strongly encourage that you get it up to excellent. At the end of the day, your credit score or a lack of a credit score is what's going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars in the long term. The higher your credit score, the lower your interest rate is. So, even if you are financially capable of it, I mean, give it some pause, give it some thought. Uh, think about, is it worth it to take on a high interest rate with a lower credit score, or should you wait maybe 3 months, 5 months, so that you can do the things necessary to work on your credit score? That way you get the lowest possible interest rate. And also, I forgot to mention earlier that with conventional loans, why I love that is that it offers the lowest possible rates.
Right.
And when you have, and you can lock into an interest rate for the next 30 years, that's what makes it a great investment. It's that long-term investment that's what makes it really solid if you can lock it on that low rate, especially with rates being at an all-time low.
Right. So the credit score is 650 or better. Conventional loans, do you have any suggestions? Can you give us like maybe one place you recommend starting out where to get a loan from for conventional?
They can use my resource, Acre Mortgage. Look it up, ACRE, Acre Mortgage. They're really more of a mortgage brokerage company. So they basically have relationships with multiple banks where you just literally call one person, and this person goes out who has relationships with these 10, 20 banks, and he comes back or she comes back and gets you the best possible interest rate. That way you don't gotta call Bank of America, PNC Bank, Wells Fargo, and all that. And also starting out too, for whoever is starting out, don't think that the larger banks, the more popular name banks like the Wells Fargo of the world,
Yeah.
PNC Banks of the world, don't think that they're like the end all be all. They're really just good for like checking accounts, honestly. Like I bank with like a lot of no name banks that you've never heard of. Even credit unions too. Like I realize credit unions are much more flexible. They're more lenient than
Right.
the bigger banks of the world. And as soon as I made like phone calls to the big banks, I shut it down quickly.
Acre Mortgage. Acre Mortgage. I got a contact for Acre Mortgage.
ACRE. Yep.
Zoe. I got a contact for him. All right. Well, we definitely appreciate that, man. We definitely appreciate your time. For those who are looking to get in contact with you, what's your contact information? What's your IG?
TUPHAM 918, 2FAM 918.
Say that one more time for him. TU.
TUPHAM 918, 2FAM 918.
Okay. And then you posted there's going to be a prize given out tonight.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna ask some easy questions. Whoever can answer it, I mean, I'm just gonna DM me afterwards, and I'll just cash out you the money. Um, okay, so I guess I gotta think of a question, right? Anthony, you want to think of one? I'll think of one. It has to be something that we talked about.
Yeah. So the one question I'll say is, to add an additional bedroom, how many square feet did it have to be? So that's the one question, because remember we talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the square footage that does the bedroom have to have?
Well, Kia first. I gotta write it down. Kia. Kia, you are the winner. Hold up, 1 second. Kia.
KEYA dot I.M L.M.
Yeah, Kia, can you text something again so I can see your name? Kia dot. Well, Kia, just DM me. All right, last question is there you go.
L Kia is KEYA dot L.M.
Okay. All right, Kia, you got it. All right, last question. What is the minimum down payment on a single family investment property? Jay Myers, cool. All right, Jay Myers, just DM me and I'll cash app you.
So we got two winners.
Cool. Y'all too late. Y'all too late. You should. All right, cool.
So I'm gonna just give you my quick takeaways, right? So one, knowing what your end goal is, and then taking action, building everything up to the end goal, not locking everything in as just one goal itself, because it's all a combination. Two, using your 9 to 5, that just say if you have additional money that you can save, or if you come across money, or however it is you do it, putting that money to work for you while you're at the 9 to 5, such as buying rental properties. If you buy rental properties, now you're always making money whether you're at work or not. And then the benefit is you go to work, you don't feel that pressure anymore. It's like, yo, I'm here. If y'all fire me, I'm cool. But if not, I just keep collecting money. And then when I feel like it, I leave. And then the big game changer you gave for us was the 4th bedroom. Adding that 4th bedroom in these 3-bedroom homes, especially like I said, Philadelphia is tough right now. The houses that I'm paying 90 to 100 for, I should be paying 60, 70. But now it makes sense. If I add another bedroom, it'll be worth, more money, whether I flip it or for the cash flow. Because now the cash flow comes back in. And I mean, if you set up an extra $5,000 and I'm getting $300-400 addition in rent, that's a no-brainer right there. And all you need is it needs to be 70 square feet, a closet, 1 outlet, 1 light fixture,
and a window, and obviously a doorway.
A window in the doorway, man. So that's like, that's game changer right there. So you definitely opened my eyes up for when I'm looking at these houses to give it other options. So I definitely appreciate you for that.
Yeah, not only are you increasing your property value, but you're also increasing your rents, and it's really the rents that's gonna keep that money flowing, because now you're increasing your cash flow. When you increase your cash flow, you increase the rate at which you're able to buy more properties. So right. I think that's very key. But not only are you increasing the rate at which you're able to buy more properties, when you increase the property value, you go back to the bank, you call them up, you tell them I want to get a cash out refi, a home equity loan, or a home equity line of credit. They come in, they see that it's a 4-bedroom home, they start comparing it to other 4-bedroom homes. If there aren't any other 4-bedroom homes, they compare to other they compare to other comparable 3-bedroom homes. And then what they do is they make the adjustments in their appraisal reports to factor in that you created that bedroom addition. So now their property value gets appraised even higher too. So it's literally like a cheat code that you implement. I've done it a handful of times already, and it's worked tremendously. And it's a win-win in all phases.
Somebody said, what about adding another bathroom?
Adding another bathroom does add to the overall rent, especially if you rent out through PHA, but even through non-PHA. Adding that bathroom does add value to the home, and it also can increase your rent as well. There was a property out in Southwest Philly I was looking at this morning. It's a 3-bed, 1-bath. I'm looking to make it into a 4-bed, 3-bath. So that's adding like huge muscle to that property. And those are a lot of key areas that you can definitely add value to your home, especially the kitchen and the bathroom. But the bedroom is really what's going to increase the rents. And just from listening to like personal development back in the days, not back in the days, I act like I'm old. But I remember one of the motivational speakers I listened to, he said that the key to wealth is service to the many. And I figured, well, if I had more properties, I'll be making more money. But on a single property basis, if I had more bedrooms, I'm technically serving more people. Like with a 5-bedroom home, I'm serving more people than I am with a 3-bedroom home. So it makes sense that I would get paid more if I service more people, aka an extra bedroom.
Somebody asked, what are the things that you can do to your renovations to get top rent for PHA?
PHA, they will look at, particularly in your house, they want to see that you have a ceiling fan. You only need 1 ceiling fan. You don't need to have ceiling fans throughout. You just need 1 ceiling fan. I actually asked the inspector that, and she said you just need 1 ceiling fan. You can add basic things like a garbage disposal. You can add a dishwasher. I personally don't like adding dishwashers. I feel like tenants will just break them. Water will pour everywhere and mold will start forming. So I personally don't do dishwashers. I don't do refrigerators that has water dispensers, ice makers. They break that. Unless, well, one tenant, they actually decided to pay me, and I ended up buying it for her, especially if she's going to be there for the long term, because it's the tenant turnover that's going to cost you money. I had a tenant that moved out after 2 years, had to put out $6,800 just to get that restored. But had she stayed there, I would have still just continued making that monthly cash flow. So when it comes to like tenant screening, I try to look for somebody who's going to be there for the long term. because not only does tenant turnovers cost you money to
It's
restore it,
a-
but it takes away a lot of your time too.
Okay.
So you gotta look for new ones and whatnot.
Some also to that PHA situation. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn. So like people say like, hey, ceiling fans, give them washer dryer.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
those are all the things. However, I like you said, the big thing is that tenant turnover, or even just the maintenance calls. So I would give a garbage disposal, not necessarily a dishwasher. And I don't do ceiling fans because that ceiling fan breaks, you're gonna want a new one. So if you break it, I'm not giving you a new one. So I don't. So in my rentals, I just always do the globes.
Uh-huh.
So I'll do those, but I can pick the additional rent up still through PHA, but I can spend extra money on appliances such as stainless steel instead of regular white or regular black.
Right.
Now, there's only but so much they could do to the appliances other than make them dirty, and I gotta clean them. Um, but then, like you said, if you do extra things like, or even just the washer and dryer hookups, I don't have to give you the appliances, but if I give you the washer and dryer hookups, you'll still get additional money through Section 8.
Yeah, and to add on to the washer dryer stuff, I mean, I feel like if I can personally make Central Air does add more. If you can make them as comfortable as possible, so by having everything readily available for them in the house, such as like washer and dryer, because I mean, if you got to go wash your clothes at a laundromat, I mean, that's fine, but that's a huge level of inconvenience, especially if they don't have a car. They can
Mm-hmm.
just do it right at home, watch the kids, and that's huge for a lot of people. I mean, I don't know when was the last time I went to a laundromat, but that's why I want to make them feel comfortable so they stay there long term. That if they have to go look for a property, now they got used to having a washer or dryer for the last 2, 4, 6 years. If they look for the next property, they got to look for one that has a washer or dryer
Right.
too.
So something about the Central Air. So real quick, if we could just touch on rehabbing the property. So the things that you're talking about that'll give you additional rent, but just say, do you stick to your budget for your rehabs when you are rehabbing properties, or will you go balls to the wall with the rehab just to get more rent?
I try to stick within a certain. I mean, I wouldn't say I have a budget. I really just, and I don't go balls to the walls either. I just try to make the house up to the condition that I want it, that I need to get it up to, in order to achieve the rent that I'm looking for. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's a balance with it. I wouldn't really say I have a budget because at the end of the day, a budget is just a predetermined amount that you decided beforehand. And if you go above it, I mean, then that's just really either probably due to poor planning. So I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. If I budgeted 20 grand and I ended up spending 30,000, and there was that extra $10,000 of expenses that I didn't expect, it's really just a matter of perspective of how you see that yourself going over budget. Because if I stop at 20,000 and there's an additional $10,000 of work, I can't get this house rented out unless I put another $10,000 in. So I got two options: either stand still, don't put out the 10 grand, cry about it, and don't rent it out, or put out that extra $10,000, get up to the condition that I needed to get to, and then have that ability to rent it out. And even so, all the renovation expenses, they're tax deductible. So I always try to look at the bright side to every type of, in that aspect, that the money that I'm putting out, it's going to be returned to me back in the form of through my tax returns, basically. So my tax returns, all of these expenses are offsetting my income. So that's how and why I am able to achieve a low income, paying little in taxes as a real estate investor.
I got you because you're investing the money into properties. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we asked. Are you doing any BRRRR strategies? Are you doing any buy and refinance, buy, rent, buy, renovate, rent, and refi? Are you doing any BRRRR strategies?
Yeah, I'm doing one right now. I have a home equity loan application with Philadelphia Federal Credit Union. It's really kind of challenging with them right now because they require a 45% DTI. So nobody understands what DTI means. It just really represents debt to income ratio.
Mm-hmm.
So if they want a 45% debt to income ratio, if you have $1,000 of pre-tax income, they want to see that you have no more than $450 of monthly debts. And your debts will include things like your car loans, your mortgages, If it's a credit card and you got a $5,000 balance on it, they only look at the monthly minimum. So it could be $50, even though you have a $5,000 balance on it. And so right now they have it at a 45% DTI, and that's the biggest challenge right now. Just trying to work backwards, identifying all the monthly liabilities that's in play, and seeing what I can do with the income piece to lower my DTI. So for instance, they'll ask for the last 2 years of tax returns, 2019 and 2018, right? And then they'll do some crazy math with it. I go ahead and verify all of that. But then I would tell them, wait, I picked up 3 more properties in 2020. Can I use the rental income from this property as well? It's not filed on my 2019 tax return because 2021 has not yet to come. So they said, yeah, you can use it. So all you got to do is just come up with a lease contract, submit it to them. And in this case, with Philadelphia Federal Credit Union, they only count 75% of your gross rents from the properties that you acquired in 2020, since it's not seen in your 2019, 2018 tax returns. So they take that money and they add it onto it. And then you can also add in co-signers to add to it. That way that co-signer adds on income, and your loan can be approved. So when it comes to this loan approval process, it's not a gray area thing. It's like, do you meet the requirements or you don't? So
Somebody talked about owning a lot. So to talk about lots, you got to wait till not this live, but not the next live, but the following live, December 17th. We got somebody who's going to be talking about lots. That's a developer in Philadelphia. But definitely, thanks again, too. We definitely appreciate you, man. Again, make sure you reach out to him. He's definitely full of information. I learn a lot every time I talk to him. And I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing your growth, man. You definitely keep killing it. And as you guys know, next Thursday, we are right back at it. We're going to have a great guest. Next week, we're actually talking about wills, life insurance, and property transfer. We're going to have a real estate attorney come on next week.
Cool.
So definitely, man. Anything else you want to leave the people with? Don't forget to DM him so he can give you your money. Don't DM me, DM too.
just work hard, keep your eyes on the prize, and I mean, you'll get there. At the end of the day, you got to have that deep purpose, that underlying reason to why you want to get to why you even want money. Because at the end of the day, the end goal isn't money. The end goal is the lifestyle. Money is just the means to having that lifestyle. And don't look at money as something that's evil. A lot of people, particularly from the low income environments, they speak negatively of money. And when you speak negatively of money, money tends to not show up in your life. I want to use an example. If you want to speak negatively about your spouse, I promise you your spouse isn't going to stick around. So when you go talk shit about money, money ain't going to show up in your face. So that's the difference between the low income mindset and the higher income mindset. Change that up. I used to think the same way because that's just stuff that I heard growing up. Like, money isn't the most important thing in the world. Money is the root of all evil. Those are the types of phrases, sayings that will get you to not the lifestyle. Yep, they'll keep you down. They'll keep you broke. There's also another saying that if you took all the money up in the world, divided it up equally, and spread them all out, soon it will all end up in the same hands. What that really means is, for that small 1 to 5% of people, they are doing all the right things with the money. For the 95% of the people who are typically consumed in buying consumers' items, the universe, the world is just saying to you, like, yo, you're not doing the right thing with your money. You want to go buy this $2,000 belt that's holding up your pants. Cool. But if you took that $2,000 and put it towards an investment, we'll give you more money back. So, it's beyond the money. It's the lifestyle, the freedom, the financial independence, the ability to help people, the ability to just make an impact and leave your legacy.
Nah, well, definitely appreciate that. Mongo, yes, we said December 17th. That'll be the actual last IG Live for 2020, man. So once again, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate you too. And salute, man. Once again, I'm looking forward to checking out I'm looking forward to checking out that property when you close on it.
Yeah, cool, for sure. Hit me up. Let me know. Come through.
Will do, man. Have a good one, man.
Take it easy, all right?
Thank you.